My name is Dan Evans. I work in the Verizon business group in England. We went back into kind of war mode for COVID-19, where the UK government have put out an initiative asking manufacturers, innovative companies and engineers to come up with ideas around how they can supply ventilators. Our client stepped up to that mark and have come up with an ability to provide ventilators to the UK government, which is just fantastic news. This is not something they do on a regular basis. They were trying to take their kind of knowledge and their ability to be innovative and actually create something in record time. So one thing that we've done, and I'm quite proud of the team as well about how quick they were able to step up to the mark and help, is kind of look at what did we already have in place for our client, and how can we utilize all potential bandwidth to do that. Within hours, probably than the day, we were able to get on a call live with the customer out of hours and still be able to troubleshoot and make sure that we could load balance at their HQ so they can take more bandwidth into that and allow the home workers to continue working from home with limited downtime. From a community perspective, I actually live in a pretty amazing community in terms of getting together and creating a group of individuals or volunteers to be able to help with the community. So we set up WhatsApp technology groups, working with a local charity called 3SG, and we've been able to kind of get people signed up before the government actually announced wanting volunteers. We got over 1,500 volunteers to help with that. We geolocated them on a map, and then we're able to now integrate into kind of bigger initiatives with like a number for our local areas, and vulnerable people can access that. And then we can put them in touch with people on their street so that they can help more locally and stop the kind of interaction between too many individuals, but also make sure that no one's left on their own. When you're faced with a challenge, you'll find out what sort of person you are. That's when you'll really find out what sort of person you are, whether you shy away or whether you take it on and roll your sleeves up and get involved. I think you'll see that, we've genuinely created some real kind of relationships.
We continue to hear some inspiring words from our teammates and team members out there around the world. And we're also doing and seeing some incredible volunteering acts, like Joe here, central office manager, and his daughter. They collected 125 hand sanitizers. Lena Peters and Stephanie Powers donated pizza to the Jersey Shore University Medical Center in Neptune, New Jersey. And of course, the U.S. naval ship Comfort, now docked in New York City, helping people. Verizon is behind that, delivering connectivity, and you see our folks there who have been working to get that connected. And we can't forget, we're still running a business, and bad things happen. Just earlier this weekend, Jonesboro, Arkansas went through an EF3 tornado. Our response team is there. But here we are live today, 12:03 on the East Coast in the afternoon time now, last day of March. We're here. That was Dan Evans who led the show for us today. And Dan is helping a major company there in the UK figure out how to make ventilators that are so badly needed today. And we're going to be talking about volunteerism. Rose Kirk is joining us today, but I want to get to updates starting with Hans. Hans, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are, V-teamers. Great to be back again. We continue with our live webcast to talk over what's happening and what we're doing. And again, I remind my team, executive team, every morning we start with that our mission is to see that our employees are safe and healthy, and that we keep up the networks, and that we think about our four stakeholders, our employees, of course, our customers, and our society and our shareholders. And we constantly try to formulate our agenda, thinking on them. And today we're going to hear more from Rose talking about the society, but of course, Christy will touch upon what we do for all of us and employees. I will myself just say that the yesterday's news and the enormous support from all V-teamers for the impacted V-teamers of the coronavirus is just amazing to see the flow of mails and Twitter feeds and how everyone is rallying together. And it was a tough day yesterday. It's going to be a tough day today and tomorrow. Many of our friends have a tough time. So continue with that outreach and see that you're supporting each other in these times. But when it comes to the network, we came out with our new network release today, or we will soon. At least I have read it. So I can tell you a couple of things. We're following two things when it comes to the network. First of all, we follow the behaviors, how consumer and customers are changing behaviors in the network. And secondly, we look into what type of applications and data are changing. When it comes to data and application, I talked about gaming is up, VPN is up quite dramatically. I've talked about less usage of social networks in the beginning of this pandemic. So that's sort of the data where we see. The behaviors, we reported more on the behaviors today. And what we've seen on behaviors, of course, that with so many people moving to work from home, we have seen a spike of much more traffic in the homes. But we also measure this weekend, and interesting, of course, is that connections to enterprises, which we call VPN, during the weekend, they fell 44%. That means that the majority of all the customers and enterprises actually took the weekend off and didn't work. Probably not too surprisingly, but you see that in the network. At the same time, you saw a continuous growth of the video on demand and gaming this weekend and web browsing, etc., meaning that was more leisure work. We have seen on Fios the demand on video on demand is up almost 50%. So you can see it again. These patterns are changing in the network, and I have to say our team is just amazing to see that with those big swings, with our size of network, we are actually managing in a good way. But we also see it on our Yahoo assets with a lot of growth, especially on our mail engagements up over 20%. And then, of course, the news, especially the coverage we're doing on Corona, so much more activity and users coming in and looking at it. So it's new times, and we can see it in our networks. I thank everybody working in the field or in the front line to keeping all those networks up, and our whole network and IT team for making that happen. I have so many calls from CEO of enterprises, from society, from states, etc., talking about how grateful they are for that we keep the network up. So a big shout out for that today on the network side. So thank you, guys. And of course, great to see this Navy ship that Jeremy was talking about coming into the harbor of New York City with full support from Tammy and her team when it comes to connectivity. And as I said, there are so many heroes out there. We heard from the UK. We have a lot of stories from Australia doing great things with their customers. So it's global. We do a global effort to see that our customers are up. So, Jeremy, back to you.
Thank you, Hans, for that update. And a lot of people remarked yesterday about seeing the Comfort, sail into to New York City and what that meant for symbolism. A lot of this, though, is communities coming together. We've heard that time and time again. Joining us today to talk about the efforts that Verizon and our employees are doing around social responsibility, Rose Kirk. Rose, thanks so much for joining us here today. Give us updates on what you and your team have been working on since this pandemic started a few weeks ago now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jeremy, and hello to everyone. And before I start, I just want to let you know that every single day I wake up with the spirit of gratitude, immense gratitude for who we are as a company, for how we're responding to our customers, how we're responding to our employees, how we are caring for each other, and how we are caring for our communities. And so right up front, as we recognize the scale and the impact of COVID-19, we took a really quick look at what we could do to have an impact in society. And one of the first groups that we actually funded were our healthcare first responders, because we realized that they were on the front lines and they needed to have access to protective equipment, to all the gear and the necessary sort of support that they could get. We have also supported online education for youth. We started with our Verizon Innovative Learning Schools, both our current schools and our alumni schools, over 100,000 students that we have supported. That's about a $39 million network investment that we made. But the beauty of that is by supporting those students, we're also supporting their households. For the rest of those students who are there and who need to have access to connectivity to do their schoolwork, for the siblings, they now have access. For the parents who may need to work at home. So we also realized that we had to support our students when they were home because many of them have an issue of food scarcity. The only meal they receive is actually what they get at school. And so we've supported organizations who will stand in the gap in that regard. And then we're supporting our small businesses, and we're supporting the World Health Organization and the UN Foundation for their work to actually do research tracking and really prevention of COVID-19. And there are various other organizations as well. I won't give you the whole list, but I just want you to know that there's about $23 million that we have invested and close to $40 million in-kind donations from the network. So we are all in about what we can do to make sure that our communities in which we live and we work and we play have the necessary skills to be successful to fight COVID. But now, along with that, you've reached out and said to us, what more can you do? And I love the story of how employees are organically out in the marketplace doing all that you can. You know that we set a goal this year to have 2.5 million volunteer hours, but we wanted to make sure that you could virtually volunteer so that you can stay safe. So we have sourced across 10 different partners enough opportunities that every single V-teamer around the globe can engage and can do virtual volunteerism. You can support the healthcare workers. You will be able to help students with homework. You will be able to provide mental health support. You'll be able to help our small businesses as well, and also provide comfort and kindness to so many of our senior citizens who are shut in and don't have the support that they need. Along with that, you can still do virtual volunteerism against our social responsible platform, human prosperity, digital inclusion, climate protection. Those opportunities are still available. And we are going to push an e-card to you after this broadcast so that you can go directly into the system. We'll give you the links so that you're able to do that volunteerism. And then finally, many of you said to us, how can I make a financial contribution? What can I do there? And so we are launching our DRIP program, which is our disaster relief incentive program, so that you can actually provide a financial donation to about 5 different organizations. And for every dollar that you provide, we're going to double your investment. So a 2-to-1 match. So we've done various things to make sure that our V-teamers can continue to have an impact. And we, again, will send an e-card out to you. It'll have the links that you can go directly into the system, participate in DRIP, and participate in virtual volunteerism.
Rose, so many great things, and thanks for sharing that. I know we've got a couple of follow-up questions for you, so thanks for sticking around with us today.
Absolutely.
I want to get over to Christy now. Christy, good afternoon. How are you today, and what's the latest?
Thanks, Jeremy. Great to be here again with our V-teamers around the world. Couple of updates for everybody today. Lots of questions coming in, continuing in the Ask Christy box about how long we're going to be operating in this environment. And we know there's been continually changing guidelines from all the governments and municipalities around the world. So we're going to add a section to the COVID employee part of the webpage. We'll list the countries and what we know to be any stipulations for how long they're instructing businesses to have and citizens to have stay at home or work from home shelters and provisions in place. For example, in the United States, that guidance has now been issued through April 30th. So we will plan to be in this mode of operation here until April 30th. In India, it's been issued through the middle of April, and there are other dates through countries throughout the world. So tune to the COVID webpage, and we'll get that information updated for you. Second, I want to just remind folks we've got a couple of surveys and places for you to give us your input out there. If you work in retail and you're a retail employee, you've gotten a VENS notification and you've heard from Krista that we're looking for your input on additional alternative work assignments. And so please get that feedback back to us, because starting tomorrow, she and her leadership team are going to be looking at that so we could find ways for all of our V-teamers to continue to contribute, even if their primary work function is not able to continue right now. For example, because of the way we've reduced our retail footprint, given the guidance that we have. We also have the Employee Pulse survey out there specifically related to COVID. Thank you. 62% of you have filled out the survey already. We're going to keep this survey open until tomorrow so that by Friday, Hans and I can share the results with you. So we've got about another day and a half. It takes about 20 seconds to complete the survey. If you have any questions or you didn't receive it, hit us up in the Ask Christy box and we'll get a survey flipped to you because we really want to hear from you. Also, as I said, we are all in this together, and that's why we put the Stock Together program in place earlier this year. And the program was effective March 2nd with a grant, and on March 31st, which is today, your accounts will now be visible and all the Stock Together tools are there. So just wanted to let everybody know that, and that's a place you could go to hear about that. It's also great to have you with us today, Rose. We've gotten just an outpouring from our employees asking for ways that they can help. I want to just thank all of the teamers that reached out to me yesterday. Obviously, it was a really hard day for all of us, myself and Hans in particular, having to share such sad news with all of you, and also knowing that we aren't going to be able to keep everybody safe from the COVID-19 virus, and families and communities. And I have heard from and continue to hear from many of you. Over the next few days, we will share ways in which our employees can reach out to and support the families directly affected by COVID. So please, I want you all to know we are working on that, and I'll have information on that here over the next day or so. And then just linking on to what Rose said, we will have the volunteer virtualism, and we do just feel so much comfort in knowing how strong the V team is, and that really we do run to a crisis, and this is a time when we're being called to act on behalf of society. And so just want to thank you for that, and for Rose putting that platform out for our folks.
Good. Christy, thanks so much for all of the updates. And certainly want to jump over to Rose now for some of these questions that we've had that continue to come in. You can always share your questions and stories or anything to us at live@verizon.com. Just email us there. But Rose, a lot of talk about people giving blood at this time and shortages across the country and across the world because a lot of those blood drives have been canceled. How are we still promoting those, and how can people still give to help in their communities?
Yeah, we absolutely want people to be safe. And so for that reason, we've invested over $1 million with the American Red Cross for specialized blood drives that they are actually holding inside of hospitals. Everyone's really screened. And so our commitment is to continue to provide that financial donation to the Red Cross. We have canceled all of our blood drives that were a part of our volunteerism simply because we want our employees to be in your homes and safe and helping to flatten the curve with COVID-19. So we're going to do our part financially to help that effort.
That's great. And now, what about these other things that pop up in people's neighborhoods or other virtual volunteer opportunities? How should folks let your team know that those exist and people can take part in them?
Yes, just send them directly to me at rose.kirk@verizon.com, because what's important for us is to vet all of those and make sure that they are authentic, and also to make sure that you can stay safe. So send them my way. My team will take a look. We will vet them, and then they will automatically go onto the platform where everyone will have access to them.
That's great to know. And Rose, stand by because I'm sure you'll get a lot of emails, but thank you for everything you and your team are doing. Christy, I want to switch back to you real fast. Announced a lot of things yesterday, and you hit on some of those in your update. What are folks saying about the extending of working from home? What are they saying about the pay and all of the retail changes?
Thanks for that, Jeremy. I've continued to work closely with Joe Russo and the emergency steering committee that we have assembled from all the business leaders. So we've made a lot of changes in retail. Krista Bourne and Ronan Dunn and their teams, they've gone to 70% of the footprint is closed right now. And we have 30% open, really to leave essential access points for our customers so that we can serve small business and families that need connectivity. We've moved to appointments only in the stores, and we've had direct communication from Ronan to the customer base, advising people of all the things they can do in our online app. And so this are all the measures we're taking to really reduce the number of access into the stores. And then when we do have people by appointment in the store, we're practicing social distancing and having all of the right equipment we need to keep everybody safe. On the dispatch side, we've worked across all of the leaders and in Kevin's service area to really refine what are going to be the dispatches in this current time that we'll do. I shared that yesterday, but just to repeat and reiterate what I know you all have heard, but we'll be looking at doing voice and broadband installations and repairs. And then we'll also only be doing video where it's related to an installation of voice and broadband. And I know this was a lot of the questions that folks had on their mind. We'll only do one set-top box. So these are the ways in which we've tried to really address for folks that can't work from home, really refining what is it and restricting what is it we'll do when we have to be out repairing, servicing, or maintaining the network. And to support that, we've implemented, starting this week, what we're calling our essential on-site service compensation. And so those individuals in those job groups are being communicated to of how this directly affects them. So we recognize that they're still having to play a role outside their home. And then finally, Jeremy, I just wanted to say the outpouring I got from folks yesterday about how committed they are to serve and really step up, recognizing that so many of us are going to be challenged in this difficult time. And one of the positive thoughts that was shared with me yesterday from one of our FiOS techs that he gave me permission to share, and real simple, but teamwork makes the dream work. And I think that sums up where we are today. Our teamwork through this crisis is going to really be able to make our dream work together. And so that all the visions we have for Verizon and the future and forward together will come to life because we work together. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Christy, thanks for that. And at the top of the show, we were going to show some pictures, and we're going to do that again for you right now, because I think when we talk about our purpose and what we do to bring these things to life, you see Joe here, central office manager, and his daughter, people buying pizzas for hospitals and sending those to the staff so that they can enjoy it. And that's down the Jersey Shore University Medical Center in Neptune, and our team out there connecting the U.S. naval ship Comfort as it came into the docks yesterday in New York City. And then our emergency response team on the ground in Jonesboro, Arkansas, after that EF3 tornado touchdown. It's a reminder of such of the good character and people that we have working here for us and doing things for us around the world and here across America as well. Over the weekend, Hans got an email from a doctor at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. And I caught up with the doctor this weekend. She had a couple minutes to share, and I just want to share that conversation with everybody now and how she's so thankful and just tons of gratitude for the Verizon team.
My name is Casue Matthews. I'm an adult intensivist, which means that I am pulmonary and critical care physician, but my clinical responsibilities are essentially all in the ICU. These patients are having so much trouble with their breathing, low oxygen levels, and in need of a lot of support. We're relying on our phones so much for communication, and there's so much activity. And so when I saw the text message, it just felt relief. And why I sent the email, I guess I wanted you guys to know that it's made such a difference in the hospital side of things, and then also in my ability to continue to care for patients even when I'm at home. To pull up a CT on my home computer was near impossible before, and now I'm able to do it much faster. Having a really good mobile carrier is essential. And I have stayed with Verizon because the signal has been phenomenal, all the way down from the MRI level, like the basement, throughout the entire hospital. And everything is time sensitive. Everybody has my cell phone, and they can call me right away to talk about, should we give this treatment, not give that treatment? And my colleagues are in the same boat. Everybody is texting, everybody is calling each other, because we really need to figure out the best plans to help these patients. Thank everybody at Verizon. It's not just been my crutch, it's been basically my saving grace to make sure that I'm able to respond to everybody as quick as I can and provide better patient care.
Oh, wow, such strong words there from Dr. Matthews. Hans, as you hear that, what are you thinking, and how do you want to wrap up today?
It's tough. It's tough every day. It's great to hear that what we are doing has actually an extremely important impact on our society. And of course, listening to Dr. Matthews, you get excited and understanding of the responsibility we all have for doing what we're doing. And that's just one of many mails I get every day. So again, it tells us a lot about our mission we have as a company, and bringing everything forward and seeing that our society is connected. So now that I think that's important. I think I just want to go back to a couple of things when I wrap up here. First of all, we always think about the 4 stakeholders in this type of crisis, and it's even more accentuated. I'm really glad that we had Rose on the call today to share how much we're doing in society, because we're a big company and we're responsible beyond normal companies because our size and our infrastructure becomes so important. And it's so great to hear what we're doing here and how that is connecting to our strategy. And even more great that we now have also the virtual volunteerism that we're all going to contribute to. I'm waiting for that e-card coming to my mailbox to see what I can do later on today. I have some meetings coming up in the afternoon, but I will try to do whatever I can do. And then, of course, talking about the other stakeholders, society, of course, first, but then our employees and Christy and the team is doing a phenomenal job to keep us all safe and having a transparency. And there I just ask you, and I always ask you twice, the Pulse survey is important for our decision making, and we have it open one more day. Please respond. It's 20 seconds. I have done it myself just seconds ago. So I listened to Christy and I did it during the webcast here. So that's important. And then of course on the when it comes to the shareholders, we'll constantly update them as well, and ultimate customers. And you heard one of our customers talking about it recently. So ultimately, pay it forward. I'm just going to push for that. I know Jeremy is going to talk much more about it, but tonight is really exciting to pay it forward. It's a way for us to raise awareness of small and medium businesses, to pay it forward to them. They are so critical for this country. And tonight, it's 2 gamers that's going to meet in a Fortnite battle. And some of you might be more excited than I am over it, and especially the youth. And I hope that some of my family members will probably attend. It's going to be marshmallows against another team. And Jeremy would probably know. But again, we do it for the right cause. We want the small and medium businesses to prosper through these extremely tough times. Once again, team, all we teamers out there, thank you very much for attending this. You know how important it is to have communication up. So I see you tomorrow. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Hans. And like Hans was saying, we're going to go ahead and take the slide up there. FaZe Clan's Nate Hill versus Marshmallow tonight. It's a matchup of the ages, I got to tell you, on the Play It Forward streaming. And you can check that out on Twitter, Twitch, Yahoo, and FiOS channel 501 starting at 8 p.m. tonight. And then remember, this is all part of our Pay It Forward series. If we go to the next slide, we want to shout out to the small businesses who you all are supporting. And Verizon's donating $10 for every use of hashtag Pay It Forward Live mention. That goes to the local initiative support corporation, and ultimately tag the local businesses you're supporting. My wife Alex and I, we are getting quite the culinary tour of Morristown and greater Morris County area right now from all the dine out and takeout that we're doing. But share those things. And finally tonight, we want to talk about the good things that our team are doing. One other plug: at 9 p.m. tonight, one of our central office managers is on the Biggest Loser on USA at 9 p.m. Eastern. Is the finale tonight. He's lost over 100 pounds, and if we could all just tune in and see what the outcome of that is. But a lot of good stuff lined up for you tonight. Just a reminder, we've got a great team. We work with a lot of great people. If you haven't talked to a coworker in a while, give them a text, shoot them a call, do all the good things. Same thing with your family and friends. I can't go a day without saying that, because it means so much to me to hear from all of you as well as my team. So that'll wrap us up for today. We'll be back here with you at noon tomorrow. Have a great day, and until next time, you're up to speed.